Hello, everyone. My name is Ivonne Lujano, and I'm from Mexico, and I am an ambassador and a community manager for the Directory of Open Access Journals, and my presentation is titled Infrastructure in Inclusive Open Access, the Case of DOAJ Journal Indexing Criteria. First of all, I would like to say that this presentation is based on a book chapter that we recently published in this book called The Politics of Infrastructures, Power, Governance, and Justice in Digital Knowledge Practices. Of course, this is available open access. And with my colleagues, Catherine, Ina, and Joanna, we wrote this chapter about the politics of infrastructure in inclusivity, and we analyzed the case of the DOAJ Ambassador Program. For those who don't know very well the DOAJ, we are a global database that indexes open access journals, more than 23,000 currently, from 140 countries and 92 languages. So as you can see, this is a pretty much global initiative, and the idea is to show the diversity of science production via the journals in the world, right? So we, for this chapter and for this presentation, we asked a question about the tensions that a global initiative like ours faces when trying to classify, or in this case, index journals, which means standardize some of the practices that journals implement, and the tension of this standardization with local realities and local practices of journals publishing. We draw from different theoretical frameworks, but specifically we say in this chapter that DOAJ is a living infrastructure, which means it's constructed by a diverse global community. And because it's a living infrastructure, the standards and all the policies are not necessarily fixed, but organically growing and changing. We are also taking into account different science and technology and society concepts, like the one that Boker and Starr proposed in 2000, the categorical work, which means classification is political and standards always exclude someone by including others. So we problematize this work of the DOAJ, taking this concept. Also, we take the epistemic justice or injustice concept from Miranda Fricker to see more in detail how standards and classification also can systematically devalue or exclude the knowledge of certain communities of peoples. And also we take this idea of inclusive knowledge infrastructure from Okune et al. These infrastructures are acknowledge and address power imbalances, which is the case of the DOAJ. Our categorical work, or this work of classifying, is based on the criteria that the DOAJ has implemented since its creation. But as we can see in this slide, this classification or standards or criteria has changed over the time because of different factors. For instance, as you can see in the beginning of this directory, we had basic criteria, then we had a major revision with many journals were excluded because of these revisions of the criteria, set the bar, let's say, a little higher. And we have also another milestone in 2017 when we run this reapplication project with more criteria included. And we are currently having ongoing updates of our criteria, because the criteria are adapted, and also let's say we take into account different traditions, as I mentioned before. So, for instance, changes in endogeny, special issues, editorial policy advisory group are some example of criterion that we have included, because we embrace inclusivity policy that takes into account different communities and stakeholders in the ecosystem. More specifically, the Ambassador Program that was implemented in 2016. This year we are becoming 10 years old. The program is run in specifically Global South, or let's say low and middle income countries, because we acknowledge that sometimes standards exclude these populations or underrepresented journals in other databases. So the idea of the Ambassador Program was to tackle this issue, tackle this problem, and try to address the tensions of inclusivity and standardization by implementing this advocacy program that is basically informed by the perspective of journals and publishers. So our ambassadors go and listen and collaborate with different communities, especially in those countries. And another tension that this program had tackled is this tension of uniformity and accommodation. We could develop and maintain DOAJ's quality standards through inclusive consultation. Our criterion are not defined by a single team, but this is consulted by with the community via surveys and, of course, the ambassadors' activities that are currently implemented in different regions. So inclusive infrastructure is not a one-time design challenge, but a continuous reflexive process. And we can say that in DOAJ this has happened organically throughout at least these 10 years of the Ambassador Program. And the key lessons that we have learned and that we developed in this chapter is that navigating the politics of classification through participation is the key, and not neutrality, not this so-called objectivity, because the landscape and the ecosystem of journal publishing is really diverse, and in DOAJ we value this diversity, this multilingualism, and it's not easy, but it's the work of including all journals and all perspectives is something that we have successfully reached via our Ambassador Program. So I invite you all to read our chapter. The book is available online in open book publishers. And well, thank you very much. This is my email in case you want to reach out to me. Thank you.